All right. Hey there folks, how you doing today? Hope all is going well for you. Please bear with any background racket you may hear while we're trying to do this. And it is hot out here, so I'm going to try to wrap it up pretty quick. It is June, it is Southeast Texas, and we're feeling it. I've been out here working all day. I did sprinklers, I did debris removal from the roof, I even got up on a ladder and cleaned the gutters. Okay, so maybe I had help with that. But there are a couple of things going on right now. For starters, it is way louder inside that house than it is out here. That being said, there's a road over there and cars are driving by. And I have a dryer vent behind this bench that I'm sitting on that is blowing at the moment. So just bear with some of the racket you hear, folks. You get what you pay for, and baby, this is free. All right, so we are gonna talk about this nifty old rifle right here. For starters, I'll show clear. Hopefully you can see that right there. I'll hold it up again in a second. Folks, this is a Mauser Model 3000 in 375 H&H Magnum. This is one of 3 375 H&H rifles I have, and one of 2 of this particular model. Now this one, you'll notice it's missing the scope. More on that in just a minute. This one is very old, 1960s vintage. The wood's a little rough. The bluing was probably at about 30 or 40% before we got started with this. And because of the environment that it had lived in before I got it, it had some pretty significant pitting on the barrel. The bore is nice and clean, and the action is oh so smooth. But it's not perfect. It's an old rifle. So I am grateful for the breeze, but I can see from here that it's moving my camera, so this may be a little bit out of focus. I apologize for that. Again, you get what you pay for. So now I'm going to show you a couple of small video clips that I shot last week one-handed while I was holding the rifle, to show you the condition the rifle was in before I got started with it. Alright, as I always like to do, we'll show clear here. This is a safe and empty weapon, folks. This is a Mauser Model 3000 in 375 H&H. This particular rifle has a Leupold 1x4x30 dangerous game reticle. This is a very old rifle. Older than me anyway. I'd say it's probably 1960s vintage. It's got a lot of minor pitting from field use. This is the condition it was in when I received it. Sorry for the camera being out of focus there, folks. But anyway, the rifle's got some scars and character to it, but nothing bad. Probably really the only issue with this rifle is this grotesque, old, nasty, brittle, mud-caked recoil pad that it has no give left to it whatsoever. It's completely old, dried out, and cracked, and today we're going to fix that. Alright, to make the fitting of the new recoil pad a little easier, I've removed the action from the rifle. Now, I did not show that on film because the powers that be, the thought police that run this network, will shut you down quick for certain things, and I know it's just stupid, but you gotta play by their phony baloney rules. Alright, so there's the old, I'll show you, there's the old brittle recoil pad. And here's the new soft, squishy Packmeyer recoil pad, which is a little too big, but that's okay. I'm gonna show you how to fix that right now. Alright, so something kind of cool I'll show you here. Let me see, I'm trying to do this one-handed and hold the camera at the same time. Line these up. Here. The screws from the previous recoil pad line up perfectly with the screws from the new one. I'm going to trace the old recoil pad on the base of the new one, which will help when it comes time to sand it down into shape. Alright, so utilizing a scribe, I have scratched a line around the shape of the base pad there on the new one, tracing where the smallest dimension of the old one is that goes on. I'm sorry, this is shaking, folks. I'm trying to hold a bunch of stuff in that here. So now the next step, I'm going to put this in the freezer and get it nice and cold, and then I'm going to take it to the belt sander and trim it down to size. So now we'll use the old belt sander to bring it down to the size that I scribed on there. A pro tech tip that I'll show you here is that I froze this in the deep freeze to make it really hard to keep it from gumming up on the sander as much as it would have otherwise. So while I had the rifle apart, I took the action and the trigger guard and the bolt head here, and I went out to the barn and I sanded them down and I Duracoated them with some Durablue from Lauer Custom Weaponry. It's a nice finish. It's a very durable finish. I've done this to several weapons. And more importantly, it's going to stop the rust problem we were having with this rifle. I will also point out that we did get that new Pachmayr decelerator recoil pad installed on this, which will help out a great deal with that 375 H&H recoil. So you might be wondering where the scope went. Well, something interesting happened last week. I had the rifle in the house, which is where I keep it, and the temperature in there was a little bit cooler than the temperature out here. So after I brought the rifle outside and started taking it apart, I noticed that the scope lens fogged up. Waiting for cars to pass. Okay. So while my camera doesn't really give me the ability to show you what that looked like, I did manage to get a picture here where you could see some condensation forming on the inside of the objective lens of that scope. So I took it off the rifle, sent it back to Leupold, and I'm still waiting to get it back. Hopefully their warranty will cover the repairs on it and we'll be good to go with that. But for the time being, the scope is not on the rifle, so I'm going to make use of the lack of the scope to take it to the range and make sure that the iron sights are true, at least out to about 100 yards. So I'm going to wrap this up now because it's hot out here and I'm really getting sweaty, but I wanted to cover one other thing with you guys this week. As you may know, we had some hats for the channel. My brother had helped me with these, and we've given them all away now. In fact, I've only got one left in there to send out, and unless your name is Brian Schaefer, it's not yours. And I said that to say this. I don't know if there's going to be any more hats for the channel. They cost money to produce. If there's any of you out there that are interested in having one, I would, take up maybe like a pre-order. We may do a second order on them in the future. Okay, hey there folks, sorry about that. I had a technical difficulty. It got so hot out here that my camera shut itself down to protect the internal circuitry, I guess. So my video cut off right after we started talking about the hats that my brother designed for me. He helped me get these here for the channel. We distributed a bunch of them to people, but now they're gone. This one is mine. This one belongs to my buddy Brian Schaefer over in Kansas. I got to get that sent out to him. There are no more. We're not sure if there's going to be any more of them. We are entertaining the idea of making some more hats. The issue with the hats is they're expensive. These ones cost about $19 a piece when we ordered them in bulk. Add to that, if you're going to ship them out to somebody, then you have to pay shipping on it. So if we do some more hats, it will be based on viewer feedback. If enough of you say, hey, you know what, put me down for one, I'd gladly pay for one. I hate charging for them. I certainly don't plan to make anything off of them, but to offset the cost of the manufacture of the hats, they're about $25 a piece delivered out to the masses. So that will depend entirely on whether or not people are willing to pay for them. That being said, if we were going to make some more hats, there may be some subtle changes. So you'll notice here that the emblem on our channel's hat, much like your youth pastor's kid, is mostly straight. Whereas you'll notice that the emblem on this hat, which belongs to Sheep Among Wolves channel, is a little bit cockeyed, much like your favorite truck stop waitress. So I don't know, what looks better to you? Straight up at the 12 o'clock or over at about the 10 o'clock position? I kind of like the one that's at an angle. It looks like it's that way on purpose, whereas the other one, I keep staring at it trying to decide if it's straight up and down or not. Also, I don't think we're going to do any more of these light gray hats with the white lettering because they don't really show up that well. But that is more or less just an add-on for the folks that are loyal followers of this channel. Let me know what you think. There's no set plans at this moment to make any more of these hats. So for the rest of you, if you watched to this point, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like or dislike if you want to. Leave a comment. It sure does help us to defeat the algorithm and keep these videos in circulation on the channel. So until next time, take care. God bless. And well, there's always something going on that stops it. But yeah, that's like 5 of them in a row.
Yep.